Today I'm in room 810 at the Garden Sonesta ES Suites, New York. If I had an award for most cumbersome hotel name, well, or any awards at all, this would win hands down. The name doesn't even fit on their own website. It's on the Upper East Side of Manhattan in the Lenox Hill neighborhood on 64th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues, and this is their one-bedroom apartment, one-king suite. I'll go over everything in more detail, of course, but this is the lay of the land. A small entry foyer area, a kitchen to the right, the main living room area straight ahead with ample furniture, a TV, and a banquette area for eating or working. There's also a fairly large and rather nifty bookshelf type thing for added storage. The kitchen is obviously small, but functional enough even for my 10-night stay, and you can see I've been to the store. Unlike some other hotel rooms with so-called kitchen facilities, I'm looking at you, Lowe's Regency, this one is reasonably well stocked with, well, actual kitchen stuff. I wouldn't come here expecting to prepare a 10-course meal for 12 people, but it's got the basics to whip up a quick lunch or dinner. This includes a compact 4-burner gas stovetop, as well as a pretty sleek cabinet mount microwave drawer. No, there isn't a proper oven, but considering the size of the kitchen, I think the microwave is the better option for hotel living. Wolfgang Puck branded coffee is provided by way of this Bev Bar machine, which works similarly to a Keurig or Nespresso, though it's probably a bit less expensive. Perfectly serviceable though, and I love having in-room coffee. The yellow tea bags next to the coffee setup are ones I brought from home, by the way. Service for 4 is also provided by way of rather heavy and solid feeling dishes in a New York theme that's, well, maybe a bit too on the nose, but hey, they're good quality and were impeccably clean and in perfect condition, so no complaints here. The sink is tiny and has dish towels and soap provided. Don't worry though, because you won't be stuck trying to wash dishes in the minuscule sink because there's a dishwasher. And a pretty decent Bosch model, no less. You can see how tight things are in here because the dishwasher's cabinet panel rubs against the microwave ever so slightly. It doesn't actually get in the way, so no big deal, and having a dishwasher in the first place is a big deal. Under the sink is a trash can and additional storage, as well as the dishwasher discharge hose, which takes up quite a bit of space. Under the microwave, you'll find a 2-slice toaster. Next to that, even more storage. Credit where it's due. For its size, this kitchen is very functional. Of course, we can't forget the fridge. Everything you see in here was purchased by me, as the hotel doesn't provide any minibar style products. That's absolutely fine, as there's a fairly large supermarket called Morton Williams half a block away on 3rd Avenue. Groceries are expensive in Manhattan, and particularly around here. If you're driving or taking the train in, it might pay to stock up and schlep everything you need from home. Also, bring a shopping bag, as theoretically they'll charge you for the reusable canvas ones. Though for some reason Morton Williams and Gristedes a few blocks over on 1st Avenue didn't charge me for them, so I don't know. And there's nothing minibar about the fridge. Sure, it's not huge, but this style is usually called apartment size for good reason. It was immaculately clean, got very cold even without going to the minimum setting, and was more than enough for my needs. Before getting into the bedroom and bathroom, let's take a look at the living area more closely because I'm sure you're wondering why there's a sheet on the couch. But first, one thing that's promised by the Sonesta website is a 180-degree powered recliner, which, yeah, this is that. And it's not uncomfortable or anything, but it's just a weird flex as a room feature because it doesn't live up to my expectations of a big, comfy, powered recliner. I'm not mad at it or anything, but I did spend all my time on the couch. Ah, yes, the couch, and its big stain of, well, I can't really say what it is. I'd merely be speculating if I claimed it was urine, so I won't say that. I mean, it could be a spilled drink or something else entirely. What is for certain is that I didn't want to touch it. You're of course going to say, well, duh, just flip the cushion over. Indeed, dear video watcher, but that's when I found a spot of what may or may not have been chocolate, but also may or may not have been feces. Sure, it's a tiny spot, but I'll take possible urine over possible feces any day of the week. And it's not like this gave me confidence for the cleanliness of the rest of the couch anyway, so better to hide the whole thing under a clean sheet, which the person at the front desk was more than happy to provide. Oh, and by the way, this chair? Comfortable enough, but it wasn't until many days later when I sat on it to put on my socks that the cushion moved and I saw this, which again, for legal reasons I can't say is feces, and could be chocolate. And sorry, I'm not going to do the smell or taste test, so this will forever be a mystery. Though I have found verified feces in 2 other hotel rooms over the years, so it's really something you need to look out for. Anywho, unfortunately after that off-putting topic, I went straight ahead and looked at the room service book. The hotel doesn't have catering on premises, so it's not room service in the truest sense. But they partnered with a few nearby restaurants that will deliver food to the hotel, which the Bell staff then brings to you. You can either pay cash or charge it to your room, so in principle it's just room service with extra steps. As a side note, there's a ridiculous number of restaurants in delivery range of the Sonesta, and the hotel has no problem with you having food delivered from an unrelated third party. Though I believe you need to go down to the lobby to pick it up, which is what I did in any case. We'll take a look at the TV offerings towards the end of the video, but here's the cheap generic hospitality remote that foreshadows what's to come. This table looks cool, but it's a bit springy. Not wobbly or bouncy, but springy. I ate a couple meals on it, and it's solid enough, but moves weirdly if you bang into it with your shin or something. Springy. It matches the style of this lamp, which I guess is good. Aside from the bookshelf, there's a decent-sized closet over here with ironing accoutrements and a safe that's big enough to hold a medium-sized laptop. Plus a good amount of wooden hangers, which is always appreciated. And a luggage rack. Swinging around, let's check out the bedroom. It's big. For a Manhattan apartment-style setup, this is rather spacious. I live in the suburbs, and I think it might be larger than my main bedroom at home. Weirdly, the only phone in the suite is here next to the bed. It's as good a place as any, but it'd be nice to have one in the living room as well, so you don't have to go running if the front desk calls. Then again, how often do you really use a hotel phone nowadays? I like this alarm clock. It's stylish, simple, yet has Bluetooth. In fact, it looks like it might have speakerphone capabilities, though I didn't test that out. 2 USB sockets and 2 regular outlets are a good touch, though as someone who kept a glass of water on that table overnight, I wonder about the wisdom of having a line voltage receptacle mounted on that surface. The dimmable bedside lamps are quite stylish and highly practical. These weird reading lights sticking out of the headboard seem a bit redundant, but I do like options, so not a real complaint. Strangely, the bed came with an odd number of pillows, the third of which is on the couch right now, 2 being super floppy, and this one, which you can see is a bit firmer. The mattress is reasonably firm and in good condition as well, but it's not hard. Bedding-wise, I've never seen a top sheet put over a blanket before. Not a complaint, as I had a comfortable sleep each night, just an observation. Across from the bed is a reasonably sized TV on a credenza thing, which doesn't offer any storage besides the top surface. Other than bedside lights, this globe lamp is the only additional illumination in the room. The nightstand on this side is a pretty simple table which does the job, but seems a little lost in the space or something. There's a good amount of storage in this built-in cabinetry, but it is dark over here. My black shirts on the black wood don't help matters, as it was genuinely difficult for me to see my own clothes. Still, I can't fault the layout or the amount of stuff you could fit in here. There's yet more hanging space and more good quality wooden hangers. I just wish the cabinetry were light gray or something, or better lit. Though it is obviously much better in the daytime with the curtains open. Climate is independent between bedroom and living area and is fully controllable. Though it appears the system will only provide heat in the winter and air conditioning in the summer. It threw me off because the bedroom thermostat was on the heat setting, even though the unit was pumping out cold air and couldn't be changed to cooling mode. Meanwhile, the thermostat in the living area was set to cool, but couldn't be changed to heat. They both worked fine, except for the fact that they have built-in motion sensors. If I was lounging on the couch for half an hour or so, the climate control would shut off. Same thing if I was sleeping, which led to a couple of sweaty nights. On to the bathroom, and I've got a lot to say about that. While the bedroom was dimly lit, as you can see, the bathroom is gleamingly bright. In a thoughtful touch, the lights aren't a dimmer switch, so in the middle of the night you can turn them on without being blinded. All hotels should do this. The bathroom is compact, but features a full-size tub shower combo and a vanity with a moderate amount of storage. If I can never get it open, a Revlon branded hairdryer is provided, as are extra rolls of TP and even tissues, which is something you don't often see. There's a plentiful amount of hand towels and additional storage above the sink. A sink that didn't drain well, incidentally. It filled up more than halfway even in the time it took to wash my hands, and yes, the stopper was open as much as possible. This shelf holds, amongst other things, cucumber and acai vegetable soap by Dickens and Hawthorne. Oh, it's fine soap, I just didn't taste any cucumber or acai. But it's good to know it's definitely made from vegetables and not anything else. I brought the toothbrush and toothpaste from home, incidentally. The products in the shower are a bit less branded, shall we say, and I'm not a fan of shared washing fluids in general. Like I said, this part of the video was shot after I'd been in the room for a few days, and after it was serviced, so the mounting thing here is secure now. But I shot this during my first night in the room before taking a shower. First, I wanted to show what, for legal reasons, may or may not be someone else's pubic hair on the wall. The main event is the fact that these soaps weren't properly secured, so anyone could have added anything they wanted to any of these bottles prior to my using them. And because they're not branded, who knows what this stuff is supposed to smell like. Or taste like. I got a tiny bit of the green stuff in my mouth when I washed my face, and it was salty. Is it supposed to be salty? Is soap ever supposed to be salty? Who the hell knows? But one thing is for certain, I washed my hair and body with the pre-packaged bar soap thereafter just to be on the safe side. But anyway, the fact that there's a bathtub is a major plus for families with little kids, or anyone who likes a bath, really. One oddity was that the valve that changes between bath and shower modes was a little janky. I think it's supposed to send water to the bath faucet when moved to one end and the shower head in the opposite direction, but the shower only worked when it was at a very specific middle-ish point that was hard to hit. Otherwise, water issued from both, neither, or mainly the tub spout. I thought the shower was completely broken at first because I couldn't find that sweet spot. Water pressure was good, though. The tub was stained with what I can only presume was a guest's attempt at a hair dyeing session, and it was obviously painted at some point before that because you can see the paint peeling around the drain. An ample number of towels was provided with a bath mat, 2 washcloths, and 4 medium-sized and reasonably plush bath towels, all of which were impeccably clean and fresh smelling. So, remember how the dishwasher sort of rubbed against the microwave? Well, it's a little worse in the bathroom. If the toilet seat is down, the door doesn't quite make it past. The hinge at the top of the bathroom door was also a little loose, which means that aside from the toilet conflict, the door doesn't close unless I kind of push it sideways. Its collision with the toilet was unrelated, as the bottom hinge was just fine and moving the door itself wasn't enough to clear it past the toilet seat. And not to harp on the toilet, but the TP is mounted in a really bizarre spot. Imagine if that roll were full. It would almost be brushing the side of the seat, and depending on the size of your posterior, well, let's just say I was basically sitting on the toilet paper, which rendered it pretty much inaccessible. I don't know. I just kept the toilet paper on the shelf in front of the toilet and only put it back in the dispenser for the purposes of this demonstration. The shelf and large mirror were a good part of the bathroom design for sure. Well, actually a mirror right in front of the toilet is a little awkward, but let's gloss over that. Though the hotel provides an ample amount of spare toilet paper, it's the super thin kind you'd unfortunately expect. But they do provide decent quality tissues for what that's worth. One last minor niggle with the bathroom is that although the lighting is great, one of the LED bulbs was definitely in need of replacement. It made this strange noise that sounds like a struggling vent fan sometimes, buzzy at other times, and occasionally was pretty quiet. Totally not a big deal, but just kinda annoying. Well, that concludes the main tour, but let's take a look at the TV for a second. The Sonesta hits one of my biggest pet peeves about hotels, particularly in this decade. They don't let you use the HDMI ports on the television. I know, most people won't care about this because they don't travel with HDMI cables or devices. But I do, and it's an unnecessary hindrance not to let me hook up my device to the TV. Fortunately, internet speeds were a more than acceptable 50 megabits down and 87 up. That's amply enough for streaming even 4K video, and so I ignored the hotel's TV and just watched stuff on my laptop. In a pleasant surprise, there was absolutely no captive portal, that's the webpage that pops up to authorize your use of the internet service, and just connecting to the Wi-Fi was sufficient to get access. I like hotels that simply give you complimentary good quality internet with no attempt to upsell bandwidth or limit the number of devices. I did check out the TV, and at most I would give it a D-. The interface was clunky, laggy, poorly laid out, and generally irritating to use. They had a bunch of still in theaters titles, which, while probably true, are also all available on streaming services, so it's not like they're theater exclusives. There were a lot of good movies, though. But the prices for the content were a bit galling. 10 or 15 years ago, on-demand was still a novelty for a lot of people, but I feel like in the 2020s, who's paying $20 to watch a movie in a hotel? You'll probably just stream it on your phone or tablet instead, right? Now, the hotel probably pays the hospitality TV service a substantial fee for the license to show the content, so high prices may not be the hotel's fault. But still, the whole thing seems so anachronistic. They have a decent amount of kid-focused content, but for example, this pack of episodes of... Can I even say that word on YouTube? The Legend of the Gunting was $15. And 24 hours of music listening was $10. That's about the cost of a 1-month paid subscription to Spotify, so just bring the Bluetooth alarm clock out of the bedroom and stream music from your phone. Though they have a lot of child-friendly content, just be aware that the menu system is definitely not for kids. Seriously, there's no nudity in this part, but they don't pull any punches on the cover images or descriptions. Oh, and movies cost just as much as Hollywood blockbuster titles for some reason. Again, it's the 2020s, and most people know the internet exists by now. Wait. I didn't notice this until I was editing the video. What the hell is the patriotic erotic package? Now I really wish I clicked on that, just because I need an explanation as to how that theme is supposed to work. Well, then again, maybe not. Live TV is available for free, of course, but I didn't demonstrate it because A, we've all seen regular television at a hotel, and B, the interface was so slow that I was getting frustrated by this point. Earlier, while I discussed the condition of the couch, I should point out that it pulls out into a bed. There were no linens provided for it, but I assume the hotel holds back on those so you don't end up sleeping 4 people in the room while paying double occupancy rates. I shot most of the content in this video at night, but this room actually had decent views from Manhattan. A lot of times you'll find yourself looking directly at a building immediately across the street, but in this case there's quite a lot of green space below the window. Just to give you an idea, we're in the back right of the building, so request a room facing 56th Street in the rear if you can. And no, that's not a pool on the roof, I think that's an air conditioning unit. Anyhow, the large wall-to-wall windows in the living room and bedroom do admit a lot of daylight, making the room seem bright and airy. Plus, you can find your socks. The Sonesta is one of the very few hotels in Manhattan to offer not just a balcony, but fairly substantial patio space. Those suites come at a price premium, but it's something you might not be able to find elsewhere, so I thought I'd mention it. Obviously, this suite does not have that feature. According to what I read online, this Sonesta started life as a residential building in 1962, being purchased and renovated by the hotel brand Affinia in 2018, and purchased by Sonesta in 2022. It certainly has a residential feel for that reason. Sonesta calls these apartments, not as mere hotel branding lingo, but because they truly were and are apartments. It seems like the original 1962 floor plans were largely left in place, and it also explains the small lobby sunken below street level. The lobby does have a pleasant, if cozy, feel, offering a few seats and a for-purchase snack and drink area labeled the cupboard. There's an annex to the lobby which acts as a sort of lounge area and business center with a computer and printer available for use. There appears to be free coffee on offer as well as a microwave, but I didn't avail myself of those. I have mixed feelings about the Garden Sonesta ES Suites New York. Fundamentally, I think it's a great property, being one of the few hotels to offer true and spacious apartment-style living at a reasonable price point in Manhattan. In fact, in any city, this is my ideal style of hotel. I like having space to spread out and a full kitchen to keep snacks, drinks, and even whip up a meal if I don't feel like going out. On-property restaurants, bars, fitness facilities, pools, and other appurtenances of a 5-star hotel don't interest me as much as the quality of life features in the room itself. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that the Sonesta does feature a small fitness room with a limited amount of equipment. On the subject of price, I paid an average of $465 per night, which I think was more than reasonable for the quality and size of the accommodations in general. In specific, though, the cleanliness and maintenance of my room were issues that need to be addressed. Of course, I may have just drawn an unlucky straw on that front, but really the giant stain on the couch and the non-closing bathroom door are things that shouldn't have gone unnoticed nor unremediated by staff. My sister also stayed on property over the course of 12 days, but not contiguously. So she had 3 different rooms and no notable problems with any of them, so it may have just been bad luck for me. Despite the negatives, I would certainly give the garden, Sonesta, etc. another chance. The friendly and helpful staff play a role in that decision too. The people at the front desk and the porters in the lobby, I'm not sure of their exact title, always greeted me when I walked in, if they weren't attending to other guests, and the couple of housekeepers I ran into in the hall were cheerful and always asked me if I needed anything for my room. So with a little more oversight, this hotel would fit all of my personal preferences. If you're coming into the city to see the sights but want a quiet neighborhood to lay your head, the Sonesta is a pretty good option. It's a half-mile walk to the Central Park Zoo, and the south end of Central Park generally, and within a relatively short stroll of the 456 and NRW subway lines around 59th Street. Q and F trains are even more easily accessible on Lex and 63rd Street, and cabs are generally abundant on 2nd and 3rd Avenues, outside of rush hour, but you don't want to take a cab during rush hour if you can avoid it anyway. I hope you found this video helpful, and thanks for watching as always. Subscribe for more hotel and other travel reviews, both here in New York and elsewhere.